methods in collection interface, etc. or other methods you guys are having. Okay, so there are many methods. I think this we already discussed yesterday, and we also have one more interface called iterator. So iterator interface provides the facility of iterating the elements in a forward direction only. Collection consists of what? It consists of set of elements. Collection consists of set of elements, and you wanted to retrieve elements from the collection. Iterator interface has some methods. Iterator interface has some methods which allows you only forward direction. Only forward direction. There is no reverse gear. You cannot come back. So you just go on the forward direction only. So there are three methods in iterator interface. I said collection is what set of elements that you will be storing in the collections, like arrays. What are we storing in? What are we storing in arrays? Set of elements. We are declaring one array variable, and we are storing set of element. Same thing we are trying to do in the collection. So if you wanted to retrieve the values, whatever you have stored, if you wanted to retrieve the values, whatever you guys have stored in a collection, you have an interface called iterator. It has three methods which allows you to travel in the collection. Travel in the sense going forward direction. Now, what is the first method you are having? You are having a first method called has next. Has next method, what it is returning? Boolean. So if you see any thing before the method name, it should be your return type. If it is an integer returning, it will have int. So similar way, what we are trying to do, we have a has next method, which is going to return what value it is going to return? Boolean. Boolean contains true or false. Boolean will contain true or false. So which method has next? Has next method returns what? True or false. Now, has next method returns true if the iterator has more elements, if not more elements, if the iterator has next element, until unless it becomes an empty, it will always return the true. Once it becomes empty, then it could not find any element in the next. That time has next is going to return false. Okay. Where do we use this has next? I stored 100 elements in my collection. Now to retrieve all the 100 elements in arrays, what did we use? We use the loops. Why did we use loops? To retrieve the values. What is the size of the array we are giving? Let's say 5. 5 is my size of the array. So what is the loop you are putting? I equal to 0. Why are we starting 0? Because array starts with 0. I less than 5, less than size of your array. Instead of putting less than 5 or less than 6, etc., what we are trying to do, we are trying to use a method called as next. See, array list is one class. Arrays is different. Arrays always have limited size. You have to specify the size. If I say 5, I can store only 5. If I say 5, I can size only 5. When it comes to array list is dynamic. You don't need to specify the size. In array list is what? Array list is a class in collections, right? Yesterday we discussed the hierarchy. Array list is a class which implements list interface. List interface implements collection. List extends collection. Collection extends iterable. So array list class has to provide, array list is not a static. Array list is a dynamic. Dynamic in the sense, you don't need to specify the size. You don't need to specify the size of the array. You will automatically if I add an element, it will automatically increase the size. If I remove any element, it will automatically reduce the size. Okay. Here, we don't need to put less than 5 or less than whatever size of the array. Since it is dynamic, array list example dynamic, they are giving one method called as next. As long as there is a value in collection, you continue repeat the loop. As long as there is no value, as next will return false. Once as next is returning false, it comes outside the loop. Example, I have 5 elements in collection. First time when you say has, am I not sharing screen or anything? So as next, don't worry, we'll discuss example. Without example, how can we proceed? I'm just trying to explain the method, what it is doing. That will be easier for you to understand the example, right? So now you have one more method called next. Next, what is this next method? Next method is also coming under iterator. So what next method is trying to do? It returns the element and moves the cursor pointer to the next element. As next is returning what? True or false. If there is an element, it will return true. If there is no element, it will return false. But what is the next method is doing? As next is different method, next is different method. So next method is doing what? It returns the element. It is not returning true or false. It is returning the element, the value that is stored in the collection. It returns the element and moves the cursor pointer to the next element. Now, how we did? We declared one array variable, x of int x equal to int of 5. How many elements I can store? 5. I used a loop, I equal to 0, I less than 5. X of I means it will get the value stored in x of 0. But here you don't need to say x of I or whatever variable of I. So here you are saying next method is doing what? It is returning the value, element in the sense, it is returning the value that is stored in a collection. We will look at the example, but these are the methods which are most commonly used in collections. And you have one more method called remove. What remove method is going to do? It removes the last elements returned by the iterator. It is less used. Now the remove method is what? It is coming on a iterator interface. And what it is trying to do? It is trying to remove the element. You wanted to remove in the sense you wanted to delete any element. You wanted to delete any element. You go for using a method called remove. Which element it is going to remove? Only the last element. If I wanted to remove element in between, you wanted to remove the first element, it will not work. That is a drawback. I mean, we look at what is the next solution to remove first element or to remove any element wherever you wanted. We'll use list interface for that. Okay. Now this is about the methods. I repeat, has next will return true or false. If it finds element, it returns true. If it doesn't find an element, it will return false. What next is going to do? Next is going to return the value of the element. It is going to return the value of the element. Then remove is going to remove the element. Which element it is going to remove? The last element. Okay. Now we'll talk about Java array list class. Make an interview ask question. Mostly asked question from the collections. Difference between arrays, difference between arrays and array list. Difference between arrays and array list. Okay, you don't need to note down. I'll explain. Arrays are specified with the size. Array list doesn't require to specify the size. Arrays are not dynamic. Array list is a dynamic. You don't need to specify any size. These are the major differences between arrays and array list class. Java array list class uses a dynamic array for storing the element. You can say you can say array list class is a dynamic, whereas arrays are not dynamic. Okay. It extends abstract class and implements list interface. We understood yesterday, right? Array list class implements what? List interface. List interface extends collections. Collections interface extends iterable, or what is that? Iterable, right? So now Java array list allows random access because array works at the index basis. Random access means you have int x of 5 is my size of array. You want to get the second element, just say x of 1, because first element will be in 0. X of 1 will be second element. That's what they are trying to say. It's a random access. And array list class manipulation is slow because a lot of shifting needs to be occurred if any element is removed from the array list. I said remove is one method. Remove is one method which allows you to remove an element. Which element? The last element. Whenever it is removing the element, again it has to change the size. So because it doesn't, we are not deciding the size. It is dynamically taking. You add any element, it should again increase the size. Again, you remove any element, lot of manipulation it should do. Reduce the size and again rearrange the index wise. First element, last, let's say my array list size, how many elements I'm storing? 5. So last element is stored in 4. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the values. Value 5 is stored in x of 4. Let's assume I am deleting the x of 4, remove method. So what it should do? It should do indexing again. It should do indexing again. It should remove x of 5. It should move x of 4 with the last value. So this is what exactly the lot of why the array list is slow. Now, using array list, we can add elements in the last only. Remove method to remove only last element. Array list method, you want to add any element, you can add the element. But where it is adding? Only in the last. Array list is allowing to add only in the last. We cannot add elements in between. If you wanted to add elements in between, you cannot, we cannot add the elements in between. Linked list allows to add elements wherever you wanted to using indexing. Linked list, array list always allowing to add it in the last. Remove method is allowing to remove only the last element. But when it comes to linked list, you have an option. Wherever you wanted to add, you can go ahead and add the element by using the indexing. Okay. People might also ask you the difference between list versus array list. You can go through it. It is very simple. List is what? Interface. Array list is what? Class. Yesterday we understood, right? List, we said so many times, list interface. List is what? Interface. Array list is what? Class. First difference. List interface extends the collection framework. Array list extends class called abstract list class. Array list is extending a class called abstract list class and implements the list interface. Implements list interface. List cannot be instantiated. Means, what is a list? Interface. Can you create an object to interface? That's what instantiation means. Object creation. Array list can be instantiated. Since it is a class, you can create a object. List interface is used to create list of elements which are associated with their index numbers, whereas array list class is used to create a dynamic array. Array list class is a dynamic array that contains the object. Here also it containing list of elements. This also containing list of elements, but this is a dynamic array. Okay. List interface creates a collection of elements that are stored in a sequence. List interface allows to store elements in a sequence. They are identified and accessed using the index. Array list creates an array of objects where array can grow dynamically. You add an element, it will grow the size automatically. Okay. Dynamic means I will tell you. I'll explain you with example. So let's stop it here. Let's go for understanding the example for array list. Okay. So that you guys can understand easily. Where are collection? Now what I'm saying, collection. Collection is what? Collection is a class. Collection is a interface. We cannot create object to the interface. So that's why what we are saying, collection variable name equal to values equal to new array list. Why I'm saying array list? Because I cannot create an object to the collection. That's why I'm using the array list. Now, which method we have to add the elements? Add method. We already discussed that method yesterday, right? You go back. You have what is used to insert an element in the collection. So which one I'm using here? I'm using array list. Array list is what? Predefined class. What it allows? It allows you to add the elements. Which method you have to use to add the elements? Add method. This add method is coming from where? Which interface? Collections. It is having method in the interface called collection. Which class is implementing list? Array list is implementing. Now, if you look at the diagram, which class we are using here? Array list. Array list is extending what? List. List is array list is implementing the list. The list is extending the collection. So array list should provide definition of methods that are coming from collection. So array list implemented a definition of which method? Add. Right? Why it should provide implementation? Because it is implementing the list. It's internally extending the collection. So they are implementing the add method. Array list implemented add method to add the element only in the last. Are you guys getting what I'm saying? I have collection interface, right? You have interface called collection. What method it is containing? Public. You don't need to write public because by default all the methods in the interface are public only. Which method I am adding? Just see the return type and all what it is taking. It is Boolean add. What parameter is taking? Element. Which element you wanted to add? Now these guys have written one method called not void. It is returning Boolean, Boolean or Boolean, correct? Okay. Boolean add. They are putting what? One element of type of object. Element. Write some code. Okay. Now you have what? Interface list. What list is doing? Extending the collection. So list extends collection. So list will contain what? This method. Sorry, there will not be any definition. Okay. List will get which method? List will get add method. Why it will get? Because it is extending. It is extending. So you will get this method from. Now what array list is doing? Class array list. What array list is doing? Implements. Implements which interface? List. So what this array list people has to do? Provide the definition. They are writing a code here to add an element. They are writing coding for add method. Add method is coming from where? Collection. List method is getting extending collection. So array list is implementing list interface. So array list class provide the definition for add method. So what they have given definition to add an element. They have given a definition to add a element. Where are they adding? They're adding element in the last. They have given a definition to add an element in the last. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do? Same thing. I'm trying to add a value. Values dot add. Right? I'm adding what? Some name. See, one more difference between arrays and array list. Arrays, first time I'm giving what? String. Next time I'm giving what? Integer. Next time I'm giving what? decimal value. It means you can store any type of values in array list. If you go to arrays, what is the definition of arrays? Set of similar element. Set of similar element. Similar element means once I declare array as an integer, I can add only integer type only. I cannot add string. I cannot add decimal values. If I declare any array variable as a float, I can store only float values. But what array list is doing? It is allowing to add any type of data. First time you are adding string. Again, I am using add. What I am adding? Integer. Next time some decimal value. Now iterator is what? One interface. I am declaring iterator I equal to values dot iterator, and then I dot has next. I already explained you. Iterator collection is having what? As next. So I said, since array list is a dynamic, you can add an element, you can also delete an element, whatever you wanted to do. You wanted to add, you add it. You wanted to delete it. So the size of the array is not constant here. Either it is increasing or it is decreasing. So I cannot use the loop here, right? I can use the loop, but I don't know whether how many elements you have. So that's why they have given a method called has next. Has next method return what? True or false. So what I'm saying, I dot has next. Has next method will return now first time I dot next. Next is another method. What next is doing? It is not returning true or false. It is returning the value of the whatever value is stored in array list. It is returning that element. Okay. So when I say in my loop has next, what it is going to do? First time, how many elements I have in array list? How many elements I'm adding? First time Ashok, second time 1, next time 33.22. So I'm adding 3 elements total, right? First time what has next will do? It will return true because it is having value. It will return true. What it is going to print? Next method. Next method will do what? Retrieve the value. It doesn't say true or false. It is going to get the value which is stored in a array list. It is going to get the value which is stored in array list. So first time what value it will print? Ashok. Next time again it will go for checking the condition like I plus plus what we had. They're reducing all this logic. They're not asking to initialize. They're not asking to declare the size of array. They're not saying to incrementation, etc. They're not asking to do this. They're giving more flexibility here. No need to increment. Just say again it will go to has next method. Has next checks what? Whether it has any value or not. You have what? You have one value which is called 1. So what it will return? It will return true. It will return true. Then next method is returning value. Next method is returning the value. First value it retrieves. Now if you read the definition, it returns the element. First time it returned the element. What element it will return? Ashok, first value. And moves the cursor pointer to the next element. It is going to next element. What is the next element I have? 1. So what it will print now? 1. Then it will move to the next one again. Next one it will put the cursor in where? 33.22, the last element. Now has next will check whether you have an element or not. I have a element. What is element? 33.22. Has next returns true. Then it will come to I next. What it will print? Because it already printed 1. Cursor is moved to the next element. Where it is moved? 33.22. What it will print? 33.22. And again it will go to hash next. Is after this, is there any value? There is no value. What it will return? False. It will come outside the loop. It will come outside the loop. If you don't want to use the loop, you have to print it 3 times. System.out.println I.next. It will first one. Then where it will move to the next cursor. Then again it will print 1. Instead of repeating it multiple times, I'm just using the loop. And I'm printing the value of each and every element. Then next what I am saying, you have add method. What's going on, man? You're continuously laughing. Any comedy show is going on here? You have any questions? Let me know. I'm continuously watching, continuous laughing. Okay, we add one method called add, which we just discussed now. You have add method. You have one more method also called what? Remove. So which element it will remove? Last element. Now what I'm saying, I'm asking to remove. So what is the array list size here? 3, because I'm storing the, it's a dynamic. You don't need to specify. You don't need to specify the size. As long as you keep on adding the elements, it will automatically take the size. But when it comes to remove, you can also remove the element. You can also remove the element. What I'm saying, values dot remove. So remove is coming from where? Collection interface. So we already written, right? One collection interface we have written. One more method. What is one more method? Boolean remove. What parameter it is taking? Object element. Which element you wanted to remove? This method also will come to where? List is extending, right? Once list is extending, you will get this method also. You will get this method also. Now array list is implementing what list? So it has to provide definition for remove also. They will provide coding for remove. So how these guys are implemented here? These guys are implemented adding element in the last. I'm putting a comment here. Now the next one. Removing element in the last. Why I'm writing, I will tell you the reason. You will also have one more linked list class. If you look at this array list class, what I'm trying to say, array list, we can add elements only in the last. That's why I'm explicitly writing for you guys so that you can understand it easily. This array list is implementing which method? Add. It is also implementing remove method. Add method adding in the last, remove method removing in the last. Now if you look at this line, linked list allows elements wherever you want to add. Array list allowing to add wherever you want it. It is not allowing. So therefore, what is now, if you look at this hierarchy, you have linked list class, array list class. Array list is implementing list. List extending collection. It means linked list is also implementing list. It means you will have one more class. You will have one more class which is called linked list, which is implementing list. Now how they are implementing this add? See, what is the interface? Each one will implement according to their requirement. Now linked array list implemented according to add only in the last, remove only the last element. Now one more class called linked list. These guys are implementing what? List interface. List interface contains what? Add method and remove method, because it is coming from collections, right? Now why these guys are adding element? Wherever needed. Are you guys getting? Implementation is different here. Concept is same, adding only. Array list is adding in the last. Linked list also implementing the add method, but they are implementing it in different way. They are adding code to implement wherever you wanted, right? And remove whichever you want. It doesn't matter, only the last one. Are you guys getting the difference? Array list is also implementing list interface. Sorry. Yeah. Array list is also implementing list interface. Linked list is also implementing list interface. List interface extending collection. Collection is having add method and remove method. So the way how they are implementing is different. One is implementing to add in the last, one is implementing to remove in the last. But these guys are implementing what? Linked list class. They are implementing in different way. They are giving flexibility. You go ahead wherever you wanted to add. Go ahead and add wherever you wanted. Remove whichever you wanted to remove. So there is a implementation is different. That is the purpose of interfaces. They just declare a method. They'll ask you to write however you wanted to write. You define how you wanted. Now what I am using here, I'm trying to remove one element. Same thing. You can use like this, high as next, or you can use loop like this also. So how many it will print now? First time when you print, how many it will print here? It will print all the three values because it is having three values. Next time what I am doing? I am removing the last element. How many times this loop will repeat? 2 times, right? Because only 2 values. Here 3 values. 3 times it is repeating. Then it will print 3 values. Now next time doing what? Values dot add. After removing, I am adding one more element. Why I am adding? Just to show you that this element is going to add only in the last. Just to show you this add method. Which add method you are using? Implementation of array list. Which class you are using? Array list. How they implemented? To add only in the last. So I just wanted to show you once you add it, where it is going to add. That's what I wanted to show it. Again, I am repeating. This will repeat how many times? How many values you have first time? How many times it will repeat? 3 times. What value? You are removing one value, right? How many values you will have in array list? 2 values. How many times this loop will repeat? 2 times. How many? What you are doing here? You are adding one more value. How many values you have total? 3 values. How many times this loop will repeat? 3 times. Okay. Now try it. What you need to observe here is adding some value. They are not allowed to give some index. I cannot give index and value. Index means where you wanted to add. Index is where you wanted to add. What value you wanted to add. See, it is taking only one parameter, right? So now if you run it, the 2 will be added in the last only. Okay, just try to run the code. Okay. So first, how many elements you have? 3 elements. It's printing all the 3 elements. Next time what you did, you removed the last element. Removes only the last element. We removed it. Now how many values it is having? 2 values. Next time what I am doing? I am adding one more value. Which value? 2. Where it is going to add? That's why it is printing the last. You got it? Now array list. See, you try to understand the concept of interfaces and implementing the methods. One is implementing one way, another one is implementing another way. Already given one example of WebDriver. WebDriver is interface. It is containing one method called get. Get method is used to what? Open a browser and type the URL. Nothing but your application URL. Google people are implementing what? WebDriver interface. Google people are implementing WebDriver interface. Which method WebDriver is having? Get method. How they are implementing the coding to open which browser? Google Chrome. Now Microsoft people, they are also extending which interface? WebDriver. WebDriver is having a method called what? Get method. Mean they are implementing means they have to give the definition. How they are giving definition? Opening it in Internet Explorer. Google has written a code to open the Chrome browser. Microsoft people has written a code for opening the internet browser. Similarly, they are implementing slightly. The concept is same, opening the browser only. But which browser they are opening? One is opening Chrome, one is opening Internet Explorer, one is opening Microsoft Edge, one is opening Firefox, one is opening Safari. So implementations are changing. That's what exactly concept of interfaces. Okay. Now this is for array list example. Okay. Is it clear now? Array list, add definition. They're adding in the beginning, they're removing in the beginning. Sorry, they're removing in the last. What linked list people did? They are asking you to add wherever you wanted. It's up to you. They are asking, allowing to remove whichever you wanted to remove. Now, if you look at, I already given a comment here. As we have seen output, it is adding at the last. It is not adding in between. Where it is adding at the last. What if I have to add element in between? Maybe people might ask a question. Using array list add method, can I add element wherever I want? Answer is no. You can add it only in the last. Using implementation of array list remove. Remove method is also there, right? Array list is implementing the definition. So remove, can I remove whichever element I want? Answer is no. It will remove only the last element. Now, can I use below code? What is my below code? Values dot add. One is what? Index. I'm trying to give the index. Two is what? Element. Which element you wanted to do? It is not possible because they're not allowing to add wherever you wanted. Now, it is not possible add number in between using array list. So we have to go for using list. That is nothing but both are, I should say, instead of list, I should say linked list. Linked list class. Array list is what? Class. Linked list is what? Class. Both are implementing add methods and remove method. Okay. And you have, let's go back to the nodes. Set interface. Set is what? Interface. In Java, all collection interfaces or classes available under java.util package. Always remember, they might ask you a question, where all collection interfaces classes are available, which package? Java.util is a package. It extends the collection interface. It is extending the collection interface. It represents the unordered set of elements which doesn't allow to store duplicate items. Set does not allow to insert elements duplicate. Array list can allow you to add duplicate items. Now there is a different. What is the set? Set is a interface. So you cannot add duplicate elements here. We can store at most one null value in set. If you wanted to add one null value, you can use set to store one null value. Set is implemented by hash set, linked hash set, and tree set. So all these things are what? Set is here. Again, set is implementing same concept again, right? So when it comes here, set is implemented by hash set, and it is also implemented, or it's a class. So set is implemented by hash set class, and it is also implemented by linked hash set. That's what they are trying to explain. But always remember, set doesn't allow to store the duplicate values. Now, if you're using this hash set or linked hash set, you cannot store duplicate value. Okay. Set can be instantiated as set data type s equal to new hash set and data type. So again, some different objects I'm creating, set 1, set 2, set 3. One I'm creating for hash set. One I'm creating for linked hash set. One I'm creating for tree set. All these are what? Classes. Linked hash set is a class. Linked hash set is a class. Tree set is also class. So since set is what? Interface. Always remember, you cannot create object to the set interface. You cannot create object to the set interface. Okay. Now let's move on to understanding linked list. Now what is the drawback we understood with array list? You can add element only in the last. You can remove element only in the last. You cannot add in between. You cannot delete in between. Now linked list, they are implemented little bit flexible. They are giving flexibility to play around whatever you wanted. Now linked list string L1 equal to new linked list. It means whenever I'm specifying the data type here, linked list, wherever you see less than greater than symbol, right? Wherever you see less than greater than, always understand it is nothing but collections. Arrays, what symbol you will see? Arrays, you will always see these brackets. These brackets you are seeing, you need to understand arrays. If you are seeing these brackets, function. If you see this bracket, it is called a function. If you see this one, less than, and you need to understand this is a collection. That's what we are trying to do here. Okay. Now, same add method. Same. What here add method, we are using implementation of array list class. Linked list is also implementing the definition, right? You are also having linked list, right? Linked list is also implementing list. List is having what? Some method. List is extending collection. Collection having add and remove. Array list has implemented code only in the last and implemented only in the removing in the last. Now what these guys are doing, linked list people adding wherever you want, removing wherever you wanted. Now add has two different definition. One definition from array list class, one definition from linked list class. Remove one definition from add class. Array list class. Remove one definition from linked list class. They are slightly different in implementations. Now, what we are trying to do here, we are trying to add the number of elements. 1, 2, 3, 4. I added total 5 elements. How many elements I added? 5 elements. I don't need to use the loop also for linked list. I'm directly saying system.out.println L1. What is my L1? It's a object. Object for which class? Linked list. When I say L1.add, which method it will call? Definition of linked list class, not the array list class. Are you guys getting or confusing? Okay. This is object for what? Array list class. When I say object name dot method name, which method it will execute? Which object it is? Array list class. Now which object it is? L1, which object L1? Linked list. Linked list also have add definition. Which object it is? Linked list. When I say L1.add, which method it will call? Linked list implementation, not the array list implementation. That you need to remember. Don't think it will go to array list add, because which object you are creating? Linked list. So I'm adding 5 elements. When I say print, what it will print? It will print all the 5 elements. Now what I'm saying, L1.remove. Am I removing the last one? No, you need to observe here. This one. You have one method. Linked list has one method called L1.add last. L1.last. Where it is going to add this element in the last. Though it is coming as a third element. When I say L1.add, add last. Add last is one predefined method which is used to add a element in the last. So where this element will be added? In the last. Now you have L1.add first. Add first means it is going to add the first element, right? And then L1.add. See, I'm giving two parameters. One is taking index. One is taking index. One is taking the element. Which element you wanted to add? Now here, it could not take the two elements. It can take only one element. By default, it will take only one element. That element always add in the last. But here, linked list has implemented add method to take the two parameters. One for index value element. 2 means 0, 1, 2. This element will be added in the third element. Now first, after that I'm printing all these elements, right? First it will add what? Add first Ramesh, then Ashok, then Anil, and then Harish. Harish will be added in where? 2. Then last one will be Manoj. Okay. Now I'm saying remove Anil. L1 dot remove. Anil is available in where? Somewhere. not in the last. Okay. Now I'm saying L1 dot remove index I'm giving. Index I'm giving. Remove first. What it will remove? Whatever the value you have in the first. What value you have in the first? Ramesh. Then remove last. What value you have? Manoj. So are you guys understanding? Wherever I wanted to add, I'm adding. Whatever I wanted to remove, wherever I wanted to remove, I'm removing. Remove is also having remove first and remove last. To remove the last element and to remove the first element. Now try to print. What first time when you print, it will print all these values. First time when you print, it is going to print all the values. Last time when you are printing, whatever you removed, it will print only one value. Can you guys tell me which value it will print? Why? Yeah, answer is correct. I will explain you after executing the code so that you can, or you can explore yourself and tell me the answer. Okay, just try to run it. Now tell me why only Ashok? Why? Now think what is the first value it is printing? Ramesh. So why it is adding first? Because I'm saying add first. Okay. And next it is going to add Ashok. Then next what I'm saying, add 2, index of 2. This is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. I'm adding Harish in the index of 2. What it is going to do, it is going to add the Harish in the index of 2. That's why you're getting 3. 2 in the sense 0, 1, 2, right? And then it's going to add Anil. And after that, Manoj. Why Manoj is adding in the last? Add last. I'm putting add it in the last. That's why this element is getting added in the last. Now, when I'm saying remove Anil, it will remove the Anil. Next, what I'm saying, where is that? Remove 3. 3 means which one? Harish. 0, 1, 2. Harish will be removed. Anil removed. Harish also removed. Now remove first. What is there in first? Ramesh. Ramesh will be removed. Remove last. Manoj will be removed. All are removed. Only Ashok it is going to print. Is it clear? Or any doubts? Why it is not removing other element? Because remove first, you are removing. Remove last, also you are removing. You are removing index of 3, also you are removing. Then what else is pending? There is nothing pending, right? It is printing only one value. Is it clear? Again, I'm repeating concept of interfaces to have only abstract methods. It's up to me how I wanted to implement. I will implement according to what needed for me. And other people, linked list, how they are implementing. You add it wherever you wanted. You remove it wherever you wanted. They additionally given 2 methods called add first and add last. You wanted to add the first, you add it in the first. You wanted to add in the last, add it in the last. This linked list, array list, both are same, dynamic. You don't need to specify the size. If you're using arrays, what you are doing? If I wanted to declare an array variable, what I have to say? I just have to say int x of this symbol means array equal to new int of, I have to specify the size here. You have to specify the size. Am I specifying any size in linked list? Am I specifying size in array list? They are dynamic. You don't need to specify. And they are also giving, now to retrieve the values of array, what we were doing, we were writing one loop, right? I equal to 0, I less than size you have to repeat. Are you using any less than size initialization? Then you are saying I plus plus. Are we using any of this? Which method we are using to avoid this? Which method we are using? Which method will return true or false? Has next. Has next, they already implemented the code, right? It will check whether the next element is there or not. If it is there, it will return true. If it is not there, it will return false. Okay. So that's why we are not using any incrementation and decrementation concepts here. Now you have next one is what? Vector example. What is a vector? Is also a class. We discussed array list. We discussed linked list. We also have one more class called vector. We will see one example for the vector. Same like linked list string you have mentioned. I am saying vector integer equal to new vector. What is my variable name? V. So not a variable, object. I'm creating an object. So here I'm adding how many elements? 5 elements. Instead of saying dot add, instead of saying like this, I'm just repeating, I'm just using one loop. I'm using one loop. I'm just sending the value of I. Okay, how many values are added? 5 values, right? Now v dot system.out.println means how many it will print? 1 to 5, right? And v dot remove. How many it will remove? When I say v dot remove, remove of 3, 0, 1, 2. It will remove for what? Value 3, right? Displaying the vector. You wanted to display, how many it will print now? 4 values, because one value is removed. And this guy is also providing an option wherever you wanted to remove it. It's not like array list where you have to remove only the last element. Now you have another one called what? I'm printing elements one by one. You wanted to get the value, just run the program, you will understand what I'm saying. By default, when I say print v, by default it will open this curly bracket, it will close it, it will print by separatedly with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, what I'm saying, remove 3. It means it is trying to remove the, I think it's starting index with 1, I believe. It is removing the 4th element. It is 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it is starting 0 only. 3 means it is the 4th element because it is starting from 0. No, not 1, 0 only. See, the first element is 0. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. So when I say remove of 3, it is removing 4, right? When I am printing next time, I am removing I removed 4, right? I mean, sorry. Yeah, I removed 4. So it is removing the 4 and printing. If you wanted to get the values one by one, what it is doing when I say print v, it is automatically printing all the values. When I say remove, it is automatically removing one element. When I print it, it is printing all the values here, right? And next time you wanted to get the value, get is a method to get a value from the vector or yeah. Now just I'm getting the value of 5 means it's printing 1 by 1, where you are not having this shape, opening bracket and closing bracket, and there is no commas as well. Okay. So most of the time, since you guys are trying as a freshers, once you join a project, they will definitely explain you the coding and they will also explain you the framework also. Don't get panic. Oh, it's too much, I'm not understanding. They will definitely explain you. First of all, like let me take my example. I am a test manager, right? So I have a lot of team. I always get a request to take some freshers into your project. So there is a what do you call, there is a rule, every project should have some freshers. There is a rule every company has. So I used to get some requests, please take some freshers. Whenever I take a freshers into my project, I'll not give any automation work in the beginning. I see how the resource is. If I see resource is very good or resource is not good, it doesn't matter. Once you are in project, one of the senior member will definitely explain you the framework, and your senior member will be explaining you some coding also, how framework basically works. You don't have to worry all these things. Just to clear your interviews, you need to learn. Okay, now that's it with the Java. I think we have something called strings, right? I said strings we will discuss. Strings also Most important thing from the interview point of view. They will ask you one interview question. They will give you some string. They will ask you to reverse the string. They will ask you one program, write a program where, you reverse the string. I have given a string, you try to reverse the string. So those programs they are going to ask. I put some, we already discussed final keyword, right? And here final is done. This is the string. So with the strings, we will complete the Java, right? Java string is what? It's not a data type. String is a class. I already explained on the day one basics of programming. I said char is a data type. How many characters it can take? Only one character. It cannot take multiple characters. If you wanted to store multiple characters, which one you have to use? String is a class which you have to use for storing multiple characters. So it has a lot of methods to perform operations on strings such as compare. I wanted to compare one string with another string. Both are same or not. Compare is a predefined method which is coming in a class called string, which will return true or false, whether both the strings are matching or not. If both the strings are matching, compare will return true. And you also have one more method called concatenation. We understood, right? Plus operator. Plus will arithmetic operator also, it can work as concatenation operator. So what it is going to do, it is going to concatenate both the strings. Adding, simple term to say, string 1 Ashok, string 2 Reddy, concat string 1 comma string 2. What it will do, it will add both the string and make it one, right? Equals, I think mostly asked question. I think someone asked me a question, difference between compare and equals. Equals also tries to compare. Equals also tries to compare one string into another string, and it will check whether both are same or not. There are so many methods, like even I also don't know all the methods of the string. At the time, what is needed for you? Ask your friend. Who is your friend? Google. Go to Google and type. Now I said what like this. Now I said you can just go through all these methods which I have given. What is the purpose and all. See, they are having 28 methods. It is not possible to remember all the methods, right? So whichever you wanted to use. Now, from interview point of view, you might get a question saying that difference between compare and equals in Java. Equal tells the equality of two strings, whereas compare two method tell how strings are compared. I don't know this lexic. Yeah, do you know what is the meaning of it? I don't know. Some examples also they have. Just explore. Just make a question, interview, ask question, make a note. Difference between equals method and compare to. Compare to or compare? I think they have compare to. Difference between equals and compare to methods. Difference between equals and compare to methods. You can see the notes here. I mean, compare to they already given. Okay. There are some differences between the two methods, return value and other as you compare. Object and sig. Equals method. What it is returning? Boolean. Okay. What object? It is taking one object as a parameter. And this one, examples of equals. Yeah. Directly. Now see what they are doing. They are trying to give one string 1. They are giving some value. They are giving some string 2. They are giving some string 3. What they are trying, they are saying string 1 dot equals to string 2. It means if the string 1 and string 2 both are same, then it is going to print true. What equals method will return? Equals method return true or false. If both are matching, it will return true. Now you look at the string, is both are same? Are you guys able to see this screen? Now is both methods are same? Sorry, not methods, value for the strings. String 1 and string 2 both are same? Small e, capital E. And again in the last, capital S and small s. Java is what? Case sensitive. What it is going to return here? You are comparing string 1 equals to string 2. Is it returning true or false? Will return false because there is a difference. Now string 3. What string 3? Same is matching. This one will return true. Don't think capital letter and small letter is same. They are different. Okay. Now what is another example? They are taking compare to method. Compare to method is returning what? Integer. What equals to is returning true or false. You guys getting it, right? One difference. Compare to is returning integer. Equals is returning true or false. First difference. Unlike Boolean, right? If this object is less than the specified object, then it returns a negative number. Some mathematical thing I did not understand. Now str equal to str2. If string 1 and string 2 equals to double equal to also you can use. I think they asked me this question. Difference between double equals to and equals to method. Just find in Google. So here str1 equal to str2. It means string 1 and string 2 both are same. It will return true. True means what? Boolean true has a value. False also has a value. True means 1. False means 0. Yeah. True means I can directly put while 1. I can write one loop. Here. I can say while 1. It means it's a true. Value for true is 1. Value for false is 0. Okay. str1 less than str2. It is going to return the negative. If str is greater than str2, returns positive. The letters, number of letters. Generally, we don't use this at all. Maybe sometimes we use equals to. Example of comparison. So this also we already discussed. Same compare to only. They're using compare to only. Sorry, equals method only they are using. Now let's try to understand. Compare to method. These guys have not given any compare to, is it? Yep, into compare to. Okay, the method return an integer. This object is less than specified object, then it returns negative. If it is equal to specified object, then returns 0. Both the strings are same. The compare to, there's a typo. I think P by mistakenly they typed compare to. It's not compare top. Returns positive integer if the object is greater than the specified object. The equal tells the equality of the two strings, whereas compare to method tell how strings are compared. I don't know what is this meaning. Anyone knows mathematical meaning for this one? Lexicographically. Just click it. Big story. I don't have patience to read now. Okay. Just go through these methods, whatever we are having in the string method. Just go through all these string methods and make sure you are able to write a program. Make sure you are able to write a program to reverse the string. Make interview ask question. Can you write a program? Can you write a program to return the string? Can you write a program? Sorry, to reverse the string. Can you write a program to reverse the string. Can you write a program to reverse the string? Okay, now let me put all these things. Mostly asked question, reverse the string program. Can you reverse the string? Can you guys try to write it today yourself? And if you could not get it, okay, not Hangouts. I think API notes I already put it yesterday. Okay, tomorrow we will start with the API, not with the Selenium, because if you go for interview in manual testing also, they're asking the Postman API. API has so many things like SOAP UI, SOAP Pro, Postman. Postman most widely used one. So in manual testing, API testing, we also consider under manual testing.